Okay, most important question today is, do you feel young? So Steve Kaufman is 71, 72. He keeps studying. He's doing a great job. So I said today maybe one of the managers might visit. They might stop by. They might pop in to say hello. We had a little bit of an argument. I forget who this is about, but this is a heated discussion. We got into it a little bit. Oh, we're talking about the sim instructor. Yeah, we had a little bit of a heated discussion. We got into it a little bit. Right? Mostly we don't have trouble, but sometimes there are difficulties. I asked this about the maintenance and stuff. I said this: when we change our thinking, we put good ideas in our heads. It gives us energy. Yeah. You can do it. You're strong. You're young. What's this, Janam? We are going to get together on the 4th of September. We're going to meet. We met in primary school. We met at primary school. In, more inside. At usually is more informal with energy. Where are you working? I'm working at Samsung. Where are you working? I'm working at LG. We reviewed this again today. Say, tell, speak. Say is for each word, right? 18. What'd you say? Tell the story. Tell the story of Snow White. Sometimes both can be used. Don't say anything. Don't tell him. Don't tell her. Same thing. Speak, used for languages. I don't speak French. I don't speak German. Also speak for a person's ability. He speaks well. Talk means to sit down and have a discussion. Let's sit down and talk for a few minutes about what happened. The president speaks very well in public. He's a good public speaker. Don't say any curse words. Don't even say one curse words. Not tell. We had a lot of videos. I like to have videos with subtitles and then the video with no subtitles. Right? So the video we watched has no subtitles today. The battle is won off the field. You win a war by preparing. So at this time, this is not when the battle is won. The battle is won before, when you're preparing, when you're getting things ready. Or in the down times when nothing is happening. I say this for English. It's not just the class, it's outside. Adam, could you say that one more time? I didn't quite catch that. The shuttle bus, the time in the hotel lobby, having coffee, waiting for a flight, all those are downtime. Break time is okay, but break time's like you're working out or doing something. Right? Harsh. Ugh. Oh, that's a harsh comment. Or I was sleeping and my father came into my room and turned on the lights. I said, Dad, that light is harsh. Please shut the light off. Have a heavy workload. I asked about San Francisco and if the descent, if people are coming in there, if it's too difficult. This is the approach. Oh, no. Maybe that's the wrong one. But the problem is you're coming in from a higher altitude and you have a steep descent, a high rate of descent. You have to get down in a hurry. You have to descend quickly. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the food? 10 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. I would say 3. We talked about the difference between ATC and ground. I think that, this is my thinking, that, the air traffic controllers are more concerned about safety. They're thinking more about safety. In the air, we can't change our plans easily. Or on the ground, it's just a bunch of aircraft trying to park. We talked about this San Francisco incident. The pilot didn't do a good job. The pilot failed to do his best. I don't know why they let the aircraft to get to that flight level. I don't know how they allowed the aircraft to get to that flight level. You really have to watch your airspeed. You really have to watch your flight level, your altitude, attitude, right? You have to pay attention to that. The captain did not make the right decision in that case. He made a lot of bad decisions. As a decision maker, he didn't do very well. Sometimes he made bad calls. We talked about your grandson. He's a toddler. My grandson cries if he has to leave me. He hates being away from me. I'm basically a super grandpa in his eyes. Our grandson wears us out, makes us tired. We always get tired taking care of our grandson. My wife is always making my grandson do things he hates, like eat his vegetables. But with me, I'm more easygoing. For me, I like being a super grandpa. I like doing the fun stuff. To do what you must do. To do what we need to do. He's a good manager. He makes us do what we need to do. When the other guy is sleeping, you are working. I like this. This is a good Korean expression. Go easy on them. I try to give them good advice. I try not to be harsh. I think that looking back in hindsight, I wouldn't have joined the military. So I asked you, would you have joined the military? Hindsight just means, thinking about the past or us now in the future. Break it down as explain. We hired in at the same time. We started out around the same time. He's a nice guy. He's just a bit standoffish. Standoffish is not like rude, but maybe they're just a little shy. He accidentally cut off his arm. When you have off, it separates. Okay? But this one, I cut myself shaving. Ow! I was shaving, I cut myself. Remember, had, would have. But Americans also say would have, would have. If you would have told me, I would have gone to the party. Better formal. If you had told me, I would have gone to the party. My wife doesn't agree with me. She won't budge. She won't change her thinking. All right, she won't budge. The workers want 25%, 25% raise, but the CFO wants a 2% raise. Neither will budge. North Korea is not going to give up their nuclear weapons. They won't budge. Habit is either your friend or your master. Psychologist. I hope I got this right. Psychiatrist. Adam is still working on his Korean. He's a work in progress. Is the passenger awake? No, she's kind of in and out of consciousness. This is me before having coffee. I'm out of it. Right? And the morning before Adam has his first cup of coffee, he's kind of out of it. He says things like, "What's my name? Where am I?" I will always support the Samsung Lions. My cousin likes the Kia Tigers, but I told him I will never waver in supporting my team, the Samsung Lions. She has never really spoken English much in her life. She hasn't really spent any or much time speaking English. Or in another country. Talked about your wife. Okay, heads up as a warning. Hey, just a heads up, but the head manager is not happy today. Warning is more serious. Look up to, respect. I want to be like Sully Sullenberger. I look up to him. Adam looks up to YBL because his desk is super clean. He's organized, and he's always straightened up. Right. Run errands. Remember this one? Shimbrum. I'm a husband. I have to run errands. Not run around, run errands. My wife wants me to go to the post office and the supermarket. I have to go shopping. I have to do a lot of errands. Right. We also did this Airbus versus Boeing. And at the end of the day, it's the same, This guy's more of a Boeing type of guy, or an Airbus type of guy. She's more of a Boeing type of girl. At the end of the day, it's the same aircraft. It's a plane that flies. Just fly it. I was young. I heard about it, but I don't really remember it. Oh, the Typhoon Hime? And what's the name? I don't remember exactly. I might have been in high school. That was back when I was in high school. Pull off, remember, is do something very difficult. Okay? Pulled off, yeah. Oh, how do you pull that off? Nobody thought you could do it. Could do it. How'd you pull that off? Very common. Airlines have to be careful about wasting time or money and fuel. The airlines shouldn't waste money. That type of activity costs so much money. We could buy school lunches instead. We talked about the Yoido Island and other things. Get into, is becoming interested. Nowadays I'm kind of getting into golf. Both pilots try to avoid falling asleep. We both tried to be aware of fatigue. We talk about things, we have discussions. Yeah, I asked about how pilots stay awake. We also watched this little segment here with the Emirates CEO, and he says things like, "We're looking forward to the future. We're not thinking about the past. We honor our commitments to our shareholders, and we're going to cut costs." Wow, he's a good CEO. Okay, I asked tonight, "What are you doing?" "I'm on grandpa duty. I'm pulling grandpa duty." Remember, pull is do. It's too easy for the controllers to blame the pilots and then blame the airlines. Really, it's a lack of cooperation. The relaxed times, the not so busy times, those are the most dangerous times, the down times. Actually, that's the first time I've heard that story. This is my first time hearing that story. I haven't heard that story before. I haven't heard that before. I also talked about passing the torch. I don't know if you like this idea. That the older generation passes the torch to the younger generation.